Hey, it's Don, the Auction Professor. It's a cold, brisk morning here on Sunday in Ohio. And again, it's time for another What's Sold on eBay. So we're going to go over and show you again just some random items that I sold. I'm trying to diversify what we have. Again, we have several accounts, so we only share one, and it only has certain types of merchandise in that account. We try to split our business up that way. But we're going to go to the screen, and I'm going to show you some items we sold in the last week. Okay, so today I've thrown in some more records. I usually don't put too many records in, but I've had more and more questions on it. It's more an acquired taste to sell records, I would honestly have to say. You have to be more invested into it and be completely serious on how you take the condition on these. No mistakes or anything, because people will be ruthless on you for a small grading difference. So, because on a expensive record, the grading difference can be huge in price-wise. Like from on this one here, this is an E- condition record. E record could be $100 more on this one, so almost 3 times as much. So that's why you got to take these serious here. Now, this one sold to a family member of these people, a great-grandchild. Their great-aunt or something like that was in this group as well as their mom. So anyway, $57.50. Average dollar record I paid for it. This went in the gospel section, in the record section. Now, here is a tobacco silk. This was up for a whopping 1 hour, as well as another one. This is typical what you see on these. It's kind of hard to tell, but these were in pretty crinkled, wrinkled condition when I got it. And, you know, I usually iron these tobacco silks, just FYI. If you're careful, you could do it, you know, to make them look just like this. So, anyway, this one went for $130. And this one went to the same person within an hour of being up as well for $75. Straight out full price on this one. So anyway, that's just $200. I paid $800 on a bunch of these just the other day. So we do invest in some bigger items like this too, dollar-wise. But I got a ton of stuff out of this purchase. So anyway, let's see, stamps. Now I took 30 on these. I purchased a huge collection in sheets, and what I did was I separated them by color and made groups of the same stamp in different colors. That's because that's how people collect a lot of these for some reason. Now, they came in 5 and 6 different colors, these, and you could get a sheet with multiple images of the same color, and, you know, people would swap them and stuff. So I just put them together, and I've been selling one of these or so a month. Long since paid for, long since, you know, made a huge profit out of these. I've got nothing into them. Again, $30 on these. This is actually the second set of these I sold this month alone. So anyway, that's almost $65 on 2 lots of 8 stamps, basically. I paid almost nothing for these 2. This is a Cinderella section. This would go under postage stamps too, just FYI. And I showed this in a haul on Halloween. I took $65 out of this, which is high end of the average price on these. The most one of these sold was in the 70 some odd range, 72 I think. And it was spotless. The sticker didn't have any issues. This has a little bit of wrinkle to the sticker. Basically, you'd get the case and you'd put that sticker on the top of the case how you would wish. That's how these were literally sold. And then there'd be a little end label so you could see it as well too. But I sold a couple movies. This one and one other one, you know, doubled my money because we made a profit already from the ones we sold. And I did show up most of this in my haul on Halloween from Halloween haul video. Another roller skating label, and it has a little minor issue, as you can see. There was a label or something on it. I took 15 as I do. I sold 6 of these this week. Not the same label, but 6 roller skating labels in general. $27.60 one of them went for, and then the other ones were in between 15 and that. This one I took 25. I sold a couple, maybe half a dozen or so photos as well. Military photos. I sold some movie-related photos as well too, but this one was 25. And that one listed in the photo section military. Or actually, I'm sorry, this one was transportation military photographs under collectibles. Airline label. This one literally went in transportation airlines. I took $10.15 for it. I just marked it down. It was one that had watchers on it. So, you know, if you hit those, usually it's gone within the first, you know, a couple hours if they see it. Whenever you do a markdown, a discount, or even lower the price on any item, if it's in somebody's cart, it's automatically going to send them a notice saying that something in your watch item list or your cart is now discounted on sale or has a promotion going on. Does it all the time, so we always, you take track and pay attention to that. This one I marked down just a little bit, and then I ended up taking 15 for it. When I do markdowns on these, I still allow the best offer. I might come back and say I can't do a best offer because it's already marked down, but most of the time I'll take it or at least look at it. And $15 I would be fine with this on this one. Average like an $8 or $10 card anyway. So, and every one of these postcards I paid $1 or less for, and this one was even less. This one I took 20 on. I think it's a Ross Verlag. Yeah, it's a Ross Verlag. I think it's on the front. You can see it. Yeah, it's down on the. Well, it doesn't actually say it. Yeah, it does. There it does. Edition Ross. Now, that's the company. It's not technically the Verlag, but it's a Ross, which is the majority of these foreign ones. Anything European usually says Ross on it, just FYI. But $20, I'm fine. I've got nothing into this again. We sold one postcard out of this lot, and I made almost double my profit on a Lon Chaney one. Movie related. Now, this is a stage show card of some sort. I got 45 out of it, so I wasn't too upset. And I picked up several of these from the same one, and it was a broadside collection that I had bought, and there was a bunch of opera and stage show related items in there too. So anyway, this is just one of them. Next one here. Let me get the next one. Another roller skating label. Again, I sold a bunch of these. $27.60 out of this one. I just marked it down and boom. This was another one that was in someone's watch list. Record-wise. I took $18.50 on this one here. I have 4 or 5 of these, so I wasn't too worried. It's a local performer, and every one of the Bossa Nova twists sells. Every one I've ever put up. I don't put up more than one at a time, and then it usually takes a couple weeks to sell, but that's typically what happens, and that's what happened with this one. It's like a mod 60s dancer. You can do a quick search on YouTube and you'll see this. You actually get to hear it play. I like the song, actually, believe it or not. But anyway, I knew the name of the company. Hamp is a local one, and Handy is the label that they put it on. It's almost like a bopper, kind of, a little bit. Now, here is a bopper. This is the Crickets. I took, what did I take? $30 on this one here is what I took on it. And that's average. There's no cover to it. The cover's been here. This is the Chirping Crickets. The cover's where all the money's at in this one here. It doesn't even say Buddy Holly on it, if you notice. It says vocal group with orchestra. This is like their first EP before they had a record out, if I'm not mistaken. And That'll Be the Day is obviously one of the most popular ones. Oh Boy, and then Not Fade Away. So, I mean, it's got 2 number ones, or at least in the top 10s on this one here alone, so... Anyway, $1 a piece or less again for all these. This one I took $18.50 on this one as well too. Now a bunch of these went to the same person, and then there's tons of other ones I sold. And again, I sell on Discogs daily about 6 to say 20 or so records as well too. So usually not as high end ones. They're usually average price like $8-10 on most of the Discogs. But every day of the week, and then some days you'll sell a bunch of high dollar ones too. So anyway, $18.50 on this one. It's like a rockabilly. It kind of sounds like Buddy Holly anyway. Now, this is Neil and Jack. That's actually Neil Diamond before he went off on his own. This one, the record pricing on this has been up and down. Let's see, the last ones that sold, and I'm talking for the last 2 years, every copy of this sold for less than, say, $90. I think the last one was $84. You can look it up on Discogs if you want yourself. This one I took $110 for. It's higher than most of the other ones that sold, so it's nothing super special. It used to sell 5 or 6 years ago when only one showed up a year for, $200 or $250 in that range. So I just throw a price up there. Happy with $110 on this record, so anyway. Let's see here. This one was this one was $25 actually. Sissy Britches, Chuck and Betty. This is another rockabilly bopper. You should, well, I guess most people wouldn't know it, but I know the name. I've had this one before quite a few times actually. It shows up more often than not because people don't realize what it is. It's just one of those oddball things. There's so many records, and until you've handled millions of records, it's kind of hard to remember each genre, niche, and performer and things. But after a while, you get to remember them, honestly. I hate to say it, but you do. Let's move on here. Now, I showed these in a haul. These are just tiny, cheapo plastic trees. I took $15 for it. I bought a lot of Train stuff, and this was just in there. I didn't expect to get anything for it, really. It was up just a couple days, and it was gone for $15. I paid $1 for this. I took $10. These tins are hit or miss. The side's really nice. They're not really rare. $8-10 is about average. So, I throw up a price. 3 times what I expect, and you know, I'm fine with 10. Takes up space anyway, so. Now this is a Marrakesh hotel. Yeah, Marrakesh hotel in Morocco, and it did sell for $27.60. I had a watcher on it as well, and I just threw that up there. So anyway, now that one in the hotel travel section in Collectibles too. And I actually sold a couple of these, I think. And then here's another postcard. I took 28 on this one, which is about half my asking price. No comps. I just threw some price out there. It's not a fancy photo, but it is a real picture postcard, a real photo postcard. So anyway, it's California too. So if I'm not sure, I'll throw some high price out there and see what happens. And another one here, Mary B. This one did go for $22. Fling, it's a known label. It's a lot of R&B and early R&B and stuff on there too. Now this is a decent one here. It's a soul. It's basically an R&B. And as I said, $1 a piece or less on all these records. Now this is a tiny, like a charm cigarette lighter. It would have come like in a gumball machine back in the day, believe it or not. And it sold for $12.95. And I have a quarter or something into this thing too. So and I talk about all these little charms and stuff. And I've got a video coming out on stuff like this shortly too. 5750 Lowell Thomas Remembers. This is a 2-discer. It's got original paperwork that came with it. This is the deluxe magnetic sound version on top of it too. So, and it sounded really good. It wasn't. It didn't have any vinegar smell or anything. But anyway, so that was a good another sale. This one went for $38. It's like an advertising window card of some sort. It shows up in. This is a postcard size, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so anyway, that's where this one came out of. You'll find postcards and stuff like this in big bulk lots. So anyway, they sell pretty good depending on what you find. The dog sold it, I'm sure. Now, this is a cigarette lighter, and I do believe I showed this in the haul. I took $30 for it. Average price is $15-20 on average. You hold out long enough, you're going to sell it for a higher price. So I'd rather sell less items at a higher price than a whole bunch of items at a lesser price. Less work for me in listing and everything else. So here's a Cameo stick pin. It's marked. It's 120 12 karat gold filled. Otherwise, I wouldn't have listed it just because it's nothing really fancy. But I'm fine with the $15 we sold it for. This is a 50 cent or $1 item somewhere. If it's not marked like this, I don't buy it though. So it's an earlier one, 1910 20s. It looks like a real Cameo. Nothing fancy though. It's small. It's tiny. So anyway. Now, here's a cheapo one. I buy huge bulk lots of postcards, which I've shown you before. This is like, I've got maybe a nickel into this. And it's where it's from. I wouldn't have listed if it wasn't Catalina Island. California, it's a giant fish, it's oddball. I have people who buy just fishing-related items because we sell a lot of fishing stuff. Either vintage lures or hunting stuff or postcards. And I sell quite a few postcards fish-related. You know, half a dozen a week sometimes. This week we sold quite a few. This one went for $5.59. Not a huge profit, but it's a huge margin. And that same person bought this one here for $27.50. So this is just a perfect example. Now this is a multiple niche one too. This could go in the fishing section. This could go in tourist section travel, or even in the postcard section too. Because these are all known places where people go and fish and things. So Big Creek is a well-known fishing area. You can see all the what looks like probably trout would be my guess, but that's a pretty good string. I'd love to have fried those up myself. But that's what I have for you today. Trying to give you an idea and an overall mix on some various items. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully that gave you some ideas though. Well, there you go. There's some more items that we sold. It's just a touch on what we do. Again, it's just from the one store, and it's just a random selection. So hopefully you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified when we post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.